When a city is grieving, truth should come before politics. But Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says the Trump Justice Department already made up its mind before the investigation even began. Now he's calling it out, by name, and demanding real transparency.
In Minneapolis, when a tragedy strikes, there is one word that summarizes what is most important, and that word is integrity. This is not the time to bend the rules. This is a time to follow the law. This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them, making sure that we're pushing for transparency every step of the way. The fact that Pam Bondi's Department of Justice and this presidential administration has already come to a conclusion about those facts is deeply concerning. The facts that from the very beginning they're calling the victim a domestic terrorist, they're calling the actions of the agent involved as some form of defensive posture. We know that they've already determined much of the investigation, and even if they haven't, there is the appearance that there is some conclusion drawn from the very beginning. If not hide from the facts, why not embrace them? If it's not a problem to have additional people at the table that have a deep commitment to the process and transparency and have run these investigations before, then why not include them in the process? The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension at the state of Minnesota has consistently run these investigations before. They have done so without bias. They've done so with a great deal of expertise. This is not some radical way out there group. This is a group that is formed by experts who understand how to investigate. Many of them have been police officers themselves. So our ask is really simple here. Our ask is to embrace the truth. Our ask is to include the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in this process because we in Minneapolis want a fair investigation. Is it deeply concerning that this administration from the very get-go is drawing the conclusion that they may ultimately come to? Of course it is. And if you got nothing to hide from, then don't hide from it. Include local experts in the process. We got nothing to hide from here. All we want in Minneapolis is justice and the truth. And speaking of the truth, let me give you another one. I have heard countless people talk about Minneapolis, many of them who have never been here, as some form of post-apocalyptic hellscape, as a place that is dangerous. Well, let me give you a statistic. 50% of the shootings that have happened thus far in Minneapolis this year have been ICE. In other words, we've only had 2 shootings. One of them has been ICE. We are a safe city. ICE is making it less so. We are a city of unity, but ICE is trying to divide us and tear us apart. For every one of the people that you see standing here behind me, they have more than 1,000 people behind them. They have people that are committed to their neighbors, committed to integrity, committed to justice, and committed to getting the truth. We will not back down from it.
This wasn't just a press conference. It was an indictment of how power is being used. Mayor Frey isn't asking for special treatment. He's asking for the bare minimum, a fair investigation. Instead, he says the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi labeled the victim a domestic terrorist almost immediately, framing the shooting as justified before all the facts were known. That's not justice. That's narrative control. Frey's demand is simple. Include the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, a professional, nonpartisan agency with a proven track record of handling officer-involved shootings. If there's nothing to hide, why block local experts from the process? And then came the moment that stunned the room. Frey pushed back against the national smear of Minneapolis as a lawless city, pointing out that half of all shootings this year involved ICE, not residents. In a city with just 2 shootings total, 1 involved federal agents. His message was unmistakable. Minneapolis isn't unsafe. Politicized enforcement is. This is about integrity, accountability, and whether the federal government answers to the people or protects itself at all costs.